gentlemen. A second cruiserweight victory for Nathan Cleverly, 4th round stoppage. Things are hotting up very nicely as we approach another very exciting time for British boxing. Questions away for Nathan, please.
Nathan, can I ask what was said between you and Tony there at ringside when you came over at the end of the fight?
To be honest, I'm not sure what he said. He talked so much crap, he just blabbered on. But ultimately, he basically said he's a cruiserweight, he's punching harder, and that's what he's going to do to me next time. Just like he landed that left hook. Apparently that's what he's going to do to me next time out. So my response was, I've already beat him once, I've been to his hometown, I gave him a shot at the world title. I was 24 years of age, I came to his hometown and I beat him. Now we're going to have the rematch. He wants revenge, I want repeat. And next time I want to beat him emphatically and silence him once and for all.
Do you think he's a much better fighter since the last time you fought?
Yeah, I think he's better. I do. I got to be honest. I think he is a better fighter. He's stronger, but also I believe I'm a better fighter. I think I've got more energy now at this new weight. Bit by bit, gradually bringing that power up with me. When I first moved to light heavyweight, I was fresh at that weight and I had 8 KOs in a row. At cruiserweight now, we're off to a good start. 2 KO victories. So I think we're both better, and I think the first fight, I think the rematch is going to be a replica of the first fight, but I believe we're going to be more explosive. I think it's going to be a barnstormer.
Do you think you've adapted better to cruiser than he has?
I think it takes me a little bit longer because at the end of the day, Tony was a heavyweight as an amateur, so his body has memory at the higher weight, so it's easier for him to get up to that weight. But I feel I'm in better shape at cruiserweight than Tony Bellew, and I'm filling into the weight nicely now. I'm becoming a true cruiserweight, and by the time the rematch happens, I believe we'll both be true cruiserweights.
What is it about him that you just don't like? Why does this always hatred keep going?
We clash, and ultimately, we clashed in the first press conference. He sees me as a rival. And he hates me. He hates me for that. He hates his rival. He hates me with a passion. And I'm in his way. I was the first chapter of our careers at light heavyweight. I was in his way for world title glory. I got there first, and he's bitter at that. And then I came to his hometown defending my world title and beat him. He's bitter. He's never got over that defeat. And he rants and raves, but ultimately, I gave him an opportunity and he lost, and instead of respecting me, he's gone on, he's shouted his mouth off. So like I said, I want to silence him now, once and for all.
Do you have the same animosity towards him like he does towards you?
Ultimately, I'm a little more chilled out over the situation because I've got the victory. I've already beat him once, so I don't really need to fight the rematch for me to be happy in my career. I've already done that. But the reason I'm going to do it again is to show that the first fight was no fluke. I won the first fight, and the next fight I want to win more emphatically. And as I said, just silence him.
Eddie, do you think we can see this fight in Liverpool?
You'll see it where it makes most commercial sense. I mean, I think Nathan deserves a lot of credit. He came here once. He even came here tonight. I mean, it's probably not, actually he's been treated pretty well generally. I mean, you got a good reception at the weigh-in, not too bad tonight, but it's wherever the most amount of money is for both fighters. I think we know it's going to sell out instantly here, but it is a national fight. The Phones View Arena is a great stadium in Manchester. London, we're talking about a big card in October. We've held here for November the 29th, and I think both fighters, Cardiff unfortunately is not really an option because it only holds 4,000, and this fight is about, one, it's about delivering a great fight for British boxing, but for the two fighters it's the biggest fight out there in the division for the pair of them, commercially and financially. Well beyond the Huck fight, well beyond the Hernandez fight. So it just so happens they don't particularly like each other, so they're up for the fight anyway. But the great news is they're going to get rewarded for it. And our job is to make sure we maximise all the commercial opportunities for them, all the revenue streams. And that will be over the next couple of weeks, looking at the venues, looking at the numbers, and making sure ultimately everyone's happy. The plan was originally to come to Liverpool. It may still be the case, but if it works somewhere else, where there's a more revenue available, then that's where we'll go. But I think the great thing is that, you know, when we started working with Nathan, we made it very clear to him, and he made it very clear to us. This fight is the biggest fight out there for him, and the winner can go on and fight for a world title. To be honest with you, the loser could go on for a fight for a world title, because Callie Sowland is banging my door down already for both of them to not fight each other and fight one of their champions. But why go to Germany in a really, really tough fight when you've got a ready-made big domestic fight for big money on the table, and a fight that the British public want, and ultimately the two fighters want? There's not a lot of convincing that it took for this fight to happen, and I'm very excited about the fight, because after Froch Groves too, we need that big domestic rivalry. You know, we've got Brook Khan, that's not happening. We've got Frampton Quigg, that's not happening. But this is, for me, the top of the tree. Even, you know, it's up there, and this is going to happen. And now we leave the arena happy, and now the job over the next couple of weeks is to make Nathan and Tony happy, and put the plans in place. Start a press tour, media tour, press conferences. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Clev, given what Tony's all said and the abuse you got tonight from the fans, does that really drive you towards this fight?
It's not that drives me towards the fight. No, I can understand all that. At the end of the day, people can just get behind their favourite fighter and support their favourite fighter. That's fine, you know. I've got fans who dislike Tony. He's obviously got his fans who obviously dislike me. They're going to support their fighter. I understand that, but that's what's going to make this fight big. You know, it's a fight. It's a grudge match. It's a rivalry. It's just got so much fire about it. We just whenever he, you know, I can respect Tony Bellew for about 5 minutes, and when he opens his mouth and I look at that guy, I just want to give him a smack, and that's what's going to happen, you know. And at each press conference, and I look at him, and I'm going to, you know, I want to lunge across the table and give him a smack, but I'll leave it till fight night. And as I said, I'm in the rematch. I'm going to settle it once and for all. The guy needs silencing. The guy, you know, he's been banging the drum now for a couple of years, being bitter about the loss, and you know, I've just done my thing, but the time is right now. We're going to get it on, and you know, listen, we're cruiserweights now. You know, we're bigger guys now. We're both hitting harder. You know, he's known as a notorious big puncher. You know, the first fight went the distance. The second fight, I don't think it's going to go the distance.
And Eddie's just mentioned like going over to Germany possibly after the Bellew rematch. Is that something you'd look forward to?
Can I just say that, sorry to interrupt, but
No problem.
these kind of fights and the profile of these kind of fights mean that you don't have to travel over to Germany for those kind of fights, because the winner of Bellew Cleverly against Huck or Hernandez, you're talking pay-per-view fights then. So then you can bring him over here. You know, and I know there's been a lot of talk about sending fighters abroad. When there's no options, or that's the best option for your career, that's what you do. But this fight is going to take their profiles to another level, and the winner of that fight will ultimately go on to challenge for a world title. But the money will be on the table from the arenas, from the broadcasters, to bring that fight to Britain.
Look forward to it.
Eddie, you mentioned pay-per-view there. If when the fight is up between Nathan and Tony, do you think that will be on pay-per-view?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think there's talk of an October bill, if we can put the right card together, and it's a monster bill. It would involve that fight, but I kind of feel like these fights are a standalone fight, and I think ultimately, regarding pay-per-view, I don't believe so at the moment. But after a couple of press conferences, you never know. But you know, pay-per-view or not, there's huge money available in the fight, and you know, who knows? Cleverly Bellew 3 might be pay-per-view, but might be 2-0, might be 1-1.
Nathan, did you feel any pressure tonight because Bellew was on the horizon?
I did.
There's an element of pressure there, I suppose, because it's easy to look one step ahead, you know. But I made it clear in training. I prepared for Valori as if he was some kind of world beater. You know, it's important now at this stage, no slip ups. And you've seen from the first round, he came out swinging, Valori, he gave it a go. You know, he tried catching me over the top. He went for it. Nothing to lose. So you've got to have your mind on this. So I made sure of that, and I'd stayed focused. You know, we're at cruiserweight now. These guys can hit, you know, and it's important to stay switched on every fight. And we've both done the biz, and that's important, and we can move on.
Pleased with your display, because obviously this is still very much a learning curve now that you've moved up.
Yeah, I'm pleased. I'm pleased. You know, with the first 2 fights, introduction into the cruiserweight division, they've gone probably better than planned, better than expected. You know, two good fights, 2 TKO victories. It's a great start for me.
Still more in the tank in terms of power.
Yeah, there's more in the tank. You know, I'm 27 years of age, so there's a little bit more and more development yet, and I think we'll just keep getting better from here now.
Do you think it's a fight that can attract the casual fan, the casual sports fan, in, you know, not to the same extent, but in a similar way Froch's pulled in?
Yeah, because they love. Listen, I mean, the great thing is one of the worst things you can ever see is fake hype and fake animosity. This is very real. So when they see it, they'll buy in. And what you saw after the knockout tonight from Bellew and all the interviews will be replayed again on Sky Sports News tomorrow all day, and they'll probably get them on ringside next week. And it's just, you know, it's just about momentum. But the rivalry's real, and again, goes back to Froch Gloves. It's a quality fight. It's not like 2 guys fighting for the Central Area title who fell out down the pub. This is a former world champion. This is a 2-time world title challenger. Very 2 top fighters in the division. So it's credible. You know, it's got the rivalry, it's got the animosity, and it will capture the imagination, because by the time it comes around, we would have done such a job on it, and so would these 2, that everyone will want to see it, and everyone will be guessing. They did a poll on Sky Sports News tonight. Who will win after the Bellew fight? Bellew was 51%, Cleverly was 49%. I mean, it's like that's the kind of fight it is. And that's why it's such a great, thrilling fight, because you just don't know what's going to happen. But you know, I think ultimately they're 2 good pros, and they don't like each other, but they'll play the game as well. And it is about the promotion, it is about the fun, it is about the rivalry. But when it's there, when it's real, you don't even, you know, it's just, you just let it happen, and it's going to be a lot of fun. This build up, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, guys, thank you as always for your support.
Cheers.
You'll get an announcement in a couple of weeks or something. So have a bit of a holiday, and then we'll have some fun.
Is he still your favourite fighter, Eddie?
What's that?
Is he still your favourite
My
fighter?
number 1 cruiserweight, isn't he? I have to say the same when Tony is here.
Yes, 1 second.
Instantly order some street food.
You watching it?
Let's put it back on again.
The one who gets back drafted it. I wouldn't know, back to about fucking 2 hours.
2 hours from here.
Technology is ruining everything.
I look at my phone, I'm like, oh yeah, right. And he was cool.
When I go to the battery, I'll text him.
The women's golf, I did it on Thursday.
Did you manage to get us a shot?
Oh yeah,
CJ Rose.
So yeah, when it gets past midnight,
it's
of course it has, but
Quickly,
he's
quickly as far as
He hasn't got to do anywhere, no, has he? That in itself is just sort of like...
Load, put them on my computer, put these on my computer, and I'm going to load them up individually, so put them on the side, and if you want to do the 1 week, put it all together, fine, we'll do get more traffic.
So I had to mash a lot of these guys off in the
Yeah, put that up as well. By then it'll be too late, you know, because like, by then it'll be too late. Because what I'll have to do, everyone will have seen it by then, you know.
Continental GT.
Well, it's onto it now. People have put it onto it now, so by the time we put it up on it, now you can't put it up higher left, because Skype, you need Skype.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they're like, if like these at 24 old.
Yeah. Well, what day are you going to go into? You do say,
You know what, it's like, I need
hours and hours and hours.
what do you know? What's that? Monday or Wednesday? You actually need to go Bellew before. It's alright to do that. You'll call your friends and that, like, your friend and
I don't know.
Because I said I have to and it can fucking just Bellew.
Thanks for staying.
Have you put that back on?
Yeah, it's on.
I know what you've stayed for. You've stayed for one thing, don't even want to talk about the fight. I know you just want to talk about the future fight.
I thought a really impressive performance tonight. 2 really impressive performances tonight. And after Brudov, I'll just let you crack on. Questions to the floor, please.
Tony, straight after the fight, he went straight over to Cleverly.
Because I told you that now once this fight's over, all my attention switched to him. And I think he switched to him quite quick, to be fair. So, it's, listen, I told you this tonight wasn't about him and me, but once that referee waved them hands, I told you, there's genuine, you ain't seen nothing, mate, there's genuine disdain, hatred, whatever you want to call it, you know. Carl and George served up something that was, in my opinion, was maybe manufactured. You'd have no idea how much I want to hurt him. I don't ever want him to fight him after I get him in the ring. And I genuinely really mean that. I've never wanted to cause harm or damage to any fighter who I've ever fought before. I want to smash his head from pillar to post. And I won't be happy with just a win. I won't be happy with just a knockout. I don't ever want to see him in a boxing ring again.
Why do you hate him so much?
Because he's just a wanker.
Good reaction.
Oh, you know, listen, I'll be honest, you know what it is? You know, when we first fought, a lot of it was when we first fought, I'll be totally honest, it was a little bit, I always don't like my opponents, and it was like, I wouldn't say manufactured, but what it was, I just thought, I don't really like you, but you're not actually that bad, and you know, you dress like an absolute swat, you wear the worst bills ever, and you know, but it's not that bad. And then we fight, we share 12 rounds of what goes on. Everyone's seen the fight, everyone knows. Okay, I'm not sitting here saying I got robbed. Lennox Lewis got robbed against Evander Holyfield in the first fight. You know, many fighters have been robbed. Mine wasn't a robbery, I've never said that. What I did say is, I thought I'd done enough to win. I thought it was a close fight that could have went either way. I felt it should have went my way. At the end of the day, I've always known it. Now, you all know here, I've seen me fight many times. If I'm ever in a close fight, I agree to a rematch on the telly after the fight. Eddie's worked with me for a while now. Other people in the past have worked with me. They've always known I've given me the rematches in after a hard fight. No other fighter seems to do it anymore. Only Carl Froch. He's the only fellow that I know really does it. If I'm in a 50-50 hard fight, I will have an immediate rematch. I don't care how hard you are, how dangerous, how good you are, I'll fight you again. Fucking hell, I'll sort that phone out. Straight after the first fight, the first thing I've done is I begged for a rematch.
I begged. I went to Frank's office and I begged for the rematch. Frank knows I did. Frank's always said I did that. The words was, he doesn't want it. He doesn't want to know. So that was that. Now the reason why the real deep nastiness and hatred comes is because in the ring after the fight, we comes together, we have an embrace. Everyone's seen the daft pictures that go up now, makes it something it's not. Comes together. The words he said to me in that ring were, that was the hardest fight I've ever had. There's no rematch, I'm not fighting you again. You're a very good fighter, that's it, we're done, I'm never fighting you again. His dad tells me the exact same thing, but his dad says, I'll be honest, we thought we were going to blow you away. We thought you were chinny, we thought you were this, we thought you were that. So okay, you know, listen, we've fought 12 rounds, we've shared something that very few people share. It's done. That was the end of it. So we walked into, might have even been this room, and after the fight, against the people who were around me, I went into that room emotionally tired, thinking I've just been in a really hard fight. I'm going to go in. I've shown respect in the ring after the fight. I've been a gentleman and I've done what I've done. I walks in the room, him and his father and Frank are sitting down and they're talking. Now the words, as I've walked in, your mind's obviously, you just fought 12 rounds, your head's both being punched everywhere. I've walked in and I wasn't really listening to him, to be totally honest, and it was just like everything was cool. It wasn't until the next day when I looked back at that after-fight press conference and I seen the words that got said. My own team and the close people that are close to me, I don't have many, 2 or 3, maybe 4 at the most, comes to see me and says to me, "Ant, I can't believe you showed them respect in the after-fight press conference." I said, "Well, you know, listen, we've just shared something that was, you know, I've very fewly shared with other fighters." He said, "Do us a favour, go back and look at that after-fight press conference, at his comments." I goes back and the comments out of his mouth was, "I'd never got out of second gear. It was an easy fight. I'd done it with 2 cracked ribs and he's not all that." Now that just infuriates me and winds me up to the point where I could kick his fucking head in right now. Because why would you say something to me face, then go in a press conference and basically tell a lie? If you're going to say something, if you said to me in the ring that was easy, you know, mate, I'd done it with broken ribs, I'd have gone, "You cheeky cunt, but, you know, fair play, you've said it to me face." Why say one thing to me face, then go in a press conference and say something totally different? He's a liar. He's a born liar, and he cons everybody with this bullshit. I've got a degree, I'm a nice person, I'm a nice fella. He's a lying scumbag. He said something in that ring to me, and I could take that. It's a close fight. If he'd come in the press conference and said it, there'd be no nastiness or hatred now. Let me tell you, when I retire him, when I knock him out, there'll be no shaking hands. There'll be no coming near me. I'm going to tell him to sling his hook. Don't come anywhere near me. And then I'm going to walk in a press conference, no matter how hard or easy the fight is, I'm going to walk in and say, "That was the easiest fight I've ever had." My nose is broken, my hands are both broke. I'm going to say, "That was the easiest fight I've ever had," and he needs to go home and change his underpants. Because them bills are disgusting. So, listen, that's where the nastiness comes from. He went to a press conference and he basically just dissed me and slated me after saying something totally different to me face, and that, I can never forgive that. I can never forgive that, because if I tell you something to your face now, I'll tell him something that's in the chain, I'll tell it to his face or I'll tell it to your face. I'm a person who's straight, and I'll say what I believe and I'll always stick by what I say. And what he done was wrong, and I'll never ever forgive that for as long as I live. So no matter what we share in the next fight, no matter what we go through, I'm going to render him unconscious, mate, and then I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh, and I'm going to say it was the easiest fight I've ever had, no matter what. Broken nose, hands, face, I'm going to say it was easy. That's why I despise him and hate him so much. That's the basic, honest truth about it. No, what happened at weigh-ins or press conference that I asked about, that doesn't mean nothing. What he done after that fight sits with me in a nasty way, and I've got evil intentions towards him. He doesn't have them towards me. This is manufactured. He's got no reason to dislike me or hate me. At the end of the day, the only reason he's fighting me is because he can get a decent payday. The only reason he's fighting me. Don't be fooled there sitting he wants to fight me. He doesn't want to fight me, he's got nowhere to go. Why wouldn't he fight me straight after? I begged for that rematch, I begged. I even said I'd go to Wales. I got for a stupid person, I said, "Okay, I'll go to Wales, I'll go to Cardiff." Didn't want to know. He's the only fighter who's won a world title. And the guys he fights after he's won the world title, okay, so he wins the world title, he fights me. I think I was another manufactured WBO number, like 15 at the time. The best person I fought was Oval Mackenzie. I'd had 15 fights. Who's fighting for world titles after 15 fights, and the best person you fought Oval Mackenzie? So we know why I got the title shot, because I opened my mouth and I went nuts at a press conference. That's why I got the title fight, simple as that. Now, I finished that title fight. He must be the only man, first after he fights me in the world title fight, he goes to fight number 84 in the world. then number 42, so he's going in the right direction. 84, 42, then he fights some fella who they've dragged in off the street, I think Hawk his name was, or something like that. Then he gets some other fella who just looked like, he just said, where did you learn to box? And he said, last week. He pounded him, and then he goes in with Kovalev. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't give Kovalev the respect he deserved before the fight, because I basically thought he was just a puncher. And one thing about him is, I know, you know, the other fella's got an half-decent chin, so I thought he would take a few, and I did all the stories, the absolute hardening he got off Tyson Fury and stuff, so I thought his chin might stand up, but the fact of the matter is, he wants to trade, he wants to show everyone how great and tough his chin is, and that's why he got knocked out. Simple as that, mate. And he lost to the better man in Kovalev, but it is what it is. That's why he's chasing me now. He's got nowhere to go. He wants to fight me again. Why not fight me straight after the first fight? Am I the only idiot in boxing who has close fights with people and agrees to immediate rematches? Because I begged, mate. You have no idea. Don't forget as well, he'd fought at British class, Commonwealth class, European class, international class, mid-world title range, beat Caro Morat, then went on to the world level. Soft lad here was just laced in with your Bob Adjasafe, your Over McKenzie. You know what? I was looked at as, he sells a few tickets in Liverpool and just throw him lambs to the slot, just throw him to the wolves. He'll come again and we'll sell more tickets in Liverpool. That's exactly how that fight was looked upon. Everyone connected with that fight just thought I was going to get blasted and beaten up. And his dad said that to me after it. We thought you were chinny, Tom. James DeGale picked me before that fight to win. And his dad stopped James DeGale on a lift and said, why would you pick against Nathan? You've sparred the two of them. He said, Tom's going to knock him out if he's okay at that weight. And he said, oh, we'll prove you wrong, we'll prove you wrong. And that always stuck with me, that he said, we're going to knock him out. They just expected to knock me out. It never happened. And when they went life and death with me that close, it's all of a sudden he starts getting matched with absolute clowns. So I've told you about his career, mate. His career's built on lies. It's built on lies. It's one thing beating me at 175, it's another thing beating me at 200. Simple as that. We'll soon see when we fight.
That was only one question.
Over to the floor. I know, but I have to get it off my chest because it's been eating me up for a while now. You know? I just need to get it off my chest and I feel free now.
Oh, good. We'll make the next answer a little bit short.
Yeah, I promise the next one will be dead short.
Next guy.
So, do you have to keep your emotions in check, or do you need the anger going into the camp to face him?
No, there'll be no anger involved in the next fight. It'll be just pure clinical nastiness. No anger at all will be involved. I'll be vicious, mate. I just want to hurt him.
So when you come together and you various
there'll
press
be none of that.
conferences.
There'll be none of that, Phil. So you guys want to turn up for press conferences? Listen, there'll be no fighting at press conferences. There'll be nothing really said, much said. It'll just be, I'll probably whisper a couple of words to him. Yeah, well, I'll sell it a bit. Possibility, or I could throw a chair at some point.
I've got a feeling there might be a few things said, actually, without egging, but anyway.
Now, what I will say is, I will not be the first one to attack. He might, because I think the facts don't sit well with him. When you look at him in the eye and tell him the stone cold facts, he doesn't want to hear them. He does not want to hear them. That might get to him. But I promise you all, I will not be the first one to attack. How's that? Can't get any further than that, can you? You might not like what I'm going to say, but I won't be the first one to attack.
Did you always plan to force feed him a Toblerone after you went
Yeah, mate, I've just been interviewing him and about that. What it was is, I was walking over to have a few polite words to tell him, and just as I got to the ropes, I tripped and just slightly kicked it on accident, so it was an accident. Get me on Jeremy Khan and Lady Simpson.
You know, so you said when you went in against Kovalev, you wanted to show everybody you could trade.
Yeah.
Now you're both bigger, stronger, and in theory punching
Well, he's not
hard.
bigger and stronger, for let's be totally honest, mate. He throws fucking arm punches, and